Now let's represent these free fall by graphs. So what is basically happening? Let's say कि y-axis पे we show the position and on the x-axis we have time. So what is happening? Let's say your position is of 100 meters, and while free falling your position also changes and it decreases. आप आहिस्ता आहिस्ता नीचे आ रहे हैं, let's say towards 40 minutes as the time goes by. But what is actually happening? Your speed is increasing. The gradient or the slope is also increasing. You can see by drawing a tangent that your slope has also increased until here it would have become more and more faster because the velocity is also changing, and the downward would be showing the negative velocity. So the free fall graph shows the line on the graph curves. Why? Because the velocity is changing. What is the meaning of a curve? That your velocity changes and that acceleration is present. A curved line on a position versus the time signifies an accelerated motion. The position time graph reveals that the object starts with a small velocity slow and then finishes with a large velocity fast. शुरू में small velocity, that is why it was moving slowly. But as the slope started to increase, what was happening? The velocity was increasing as well as you change your position from above to down. Now let's check your understanding. Doesn't a more massive object accelerate at a greater rate than a less massive object? Wouldn't an elephant free fall faster than a mouse? What do you think? कि अगर if I compare an elephant with a mouse, would an elephant free fall faster than? Or if the answer to the question is, doesn't a more massive object accelerate at a greater rate than a massive object? No. हमने पहले बताया acceleration आपकी कितनी है? 9.81 meter per second. And that is absolutely not if we are considering the specific type of falling motion known as free fall. जब हम free fall की बात करते हैं, we do not keep in mind air resistance. ठीक है ना? Air resistance नहीं है. तो whatever the type of object is, however massive it is, it's less massive or more massive, ज़्यादा mass है, कम mass है. Free fall is the motion of objects which move under the sole influence. Sole influence means only gravity, not mass, not the upward force, not a downward force, nothing. Only one downward force, which is the gravitational force. So the free falling objects do not encounter air resistance. Yes, अगर हम air resistance को mind में रखें तो क्या होगा? Elephant has a larger surface area. Mouse has a smaller surface area. So obviously the elephant is going to face more air resistance as it falls down and its velocity would decrease. Whereas the mouse has a less surface area and its velocity would increase because it's a smaller object and would fall faster. या अगर हम weight को भी consider करते हैं, now the weight of the elephant would be larger, तो greater downward force है. Weight of the mouse is less, so more massive object will only fall faster if there is an appreciable amount of air resistance present. वो faster क्यों fall करेंगे? Mass is more, and mass is directly proportional to velocity. More the mass, more the velocity. Only with negligible air resistance, या अगर थोड़ा बहुत air resistance present, and if both the bodies have the same air resistance. Force of gravity means this dog is going to accelerate. Gravity आपकी है 9.8 meter per second square. To start, the dog is falling slowly. It has not had time to speed up. There is really not only one force acting on a dog. ठीक है? There is only one force acting on a dog, which is gravity. The only sole influence is due to the gravity. So the dog falls faster, accelerates due to its force, and the gravity is still bigger than air resistance. Let's say that air resistance is now present. Still the gravity is greater. Gravity की वजह से आपके पास एक और force आती है ना, weight. What is weight? हम जो measure करते हैं, that is not our weight. Weight असल में ये नहीं होता. जब भी हम कुछ measure करते हैं, कोई आपसे पूछता है आपका weight कितना है, वो गलत पूछता है. आपका mass कितना है, ये पूछना चाहिए. हम BMI कैलकुलेट करते हैं तो mass कैलकुलेट करते हैं. 70 kg आपका mass है. It's not your weight. Weight तो force है. Weight is a force that is measured in newtons. What you measure is your mass. आप जो weighing scale पे खड़े होते हैं वो mass है. Weight क्या है? Force है. वो किसमें? Newton में. And why is that weight present? Because of the gravity. So as the dog falls faster, another force becomes bigger, which is the air resistance. The force of gravity on the dog of the course stays the same, and the force of gravity is still bigger than the air resistance. So the dog continues to accelerate. जैसे जैसे आप नीचे जाएंगे, the dog is still going to speed up, और वो एक्सेलरेट करता जाएगा because the force of gravity is larger than the air resistance, which is still smaller. अगर हम gravity और air resistance को देखें, there comes another concept that we call as terminal velocity as well, that we're going to discuss again.